Hello, friends. Welcome to another Saturday night movie stream discussion here on my channel. Lots of fun things to talk about. And I got to bring in a gentleman who really kind of like encouraged this discussion topic. And that's Mr. Gretzky himself. What's up, Matt?
Hey, how you doing, John?
I'm doing great. And thanks for encouraging this topic and for kind of creating some thought process going on this because it's a big topic with obviously decades worth of movies to get into. We're talking Bond.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 60 what is it? 62 years now?
I mean, right, since I've got the Charlie's Lego Aston Martin here with changeable license plates in the back. It's got all, you can change out any license plate you want Bond to have. He's got different plates,
Yeah.
She says she's been changing the license plate every so often, like a good spy. But
oh yes,
when we were talking about this, you're like, we got to make sure there's one guy that's got to join us. And
yes.
you were like, Carlito Classico.
This guy, man, horrible choice. No, it's a pleasure to be here with you two fellows. So
right,
and thanks for inviting me, Matt. This is awesome.
Absolutely.
Oh, no problem.
And cheers to you guys. A little cheers for you guys.
Nice.
Hope you guys are got your Bond thinking caps on tonight. We're going to say hello to the people in the chat, and then we're going to dive into all manner of James Bond discussion topics here. And we got Carlito tailgating. He was already ready to go. He was ready for this almost 3 hours ago. Look at him.
Even if I wasn't ready, I would have been ready.
And then we had way later, we got Gordon coming in. What's going on? Look too interesting to miss. There you go. Thank you, Gordon. Christina Payne, the woman who drops more channel links in the chat than anybody. Christina, you are awesome. I appreciate all that you do. I hope you're having a good evening. We got Perry Comics, who's probably never seen that many Bond films, more than likely.
He's probably played more video games than anything.
Yeah, he's probably got GoldenEye down the game, but how many Bond films? Yeah. I'd be very curious to see. Bethany, how you doing? I know she was doing a stream not too long ago, talking fantasy novels. I hope that stream went well. We got Brooklyn in the chat. What's going on, JSS? Happy Labor Day weekend to you as well. We got Magic Lasso. He's singing "For Your Eyes Only" just to the panel. There you go. Bondage is the topic. I mean, Bond, the age of Bond. Sure.
Oh yes.
We got Kenneth Bird. What is going on, Kenneth? Good to see you, sir. You Only Live Twice is my favorite, followed by Dr. No. Look, he has seen some Bond films. There you go.
Two. Those are probably the only two he's ever seen.
He says, I've seen them all and I own them all. Mind blown.
What?
Like that. That is a shaking it up for me tonight. Absolutely.
Oh yes.
Well, then I guess that starts a nice question topic here. Matt, what was your first Bond film you remember watching?
Good question.
That's a good question. Because I remember, because my uncle, my dad's uncle, my great uncle, got me into watching James Bond. So
nice.
He was big into Bond up till Timothy Dalton. And then after that, he didn't go to the movie theater after 89. So he didn't go.
He didn't get any Brosnan.
I think he got him like on TV here and there, but he could watch the old ones for like a couple of minutes.
Oh, for sure.
In there and tell you exactly what the movie was just by looking at some goofy scene that was in there, what they said. He's like, oh yeah, that's that, and that. But I would probably have to say it was probably the early ones, like View to a Kill, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say that I distinctly remember seeing A View to a Kill in the theater. Like I was probably 12 or whatever.
Yeah, I think the first ones I saw were Brosnan in the theater.
Okay, but like for me, like looking back, I'm like, that was not one of the better Bond films. But seeing it, I was like, this is so cool, and the stunts and all the stuff. Like, I enjoyed the heck out of it. And Christopher Walken's crazy bad guy and Grace Jones. It's probably where my love of Storm comes from. Just falling in love with Grace Jones.
Oh yeah, she would have made a great Storm.
Right. What about you, Carlito? Do you remember your first Bond film experience?
So I think I was way too young to remember what name or which one. I don't.
Which act? Do you know one of the actors? Are you thinking it was a Connery or a Roger Moore or a Dalton?
I want to say it was Roger Moore.
Oh, Roger Moore.
Okay, I think Moonraker, right?
Sure. Yeah, Moonraker is one of his for sure.
Yeah,
was one of the first ones I saw at my grandparents'.
Okay,
it was on TV or something, and I want to say there. Sorry, go ahead.
That was our generation. We grew up with Roger Moore was Bond, and unless you were being shown the older films first, that was the Bond you saw.
Yeah, and I think it was like part of a marathon or something on.
They used to do
AMC back then, or
right back in the day. The Bond, there was like a yearly Bond marathon, and they would just run
TNT
all
would do it.
It was TNT, yeah. So I think Thunderball and Moonraker were my two very first experiences. And then theater wise was Goldeneye. So.
Got it.
Yeah, Moonraker. Only reason they did that was because Star Wars came out.
Right? You got to get outer space in there.
Yeah, got to do that. Got to go underwater.
They did have some cool set pieces though.
But. This is true, Perry. I agree.
Yes, that's 100% true.
And what's up, Paul? Good to see you, sir. How you doing? So then, okay. If that was your first Bond experience, do you have? I kind of want to start by ranking our Bonds.
Okay.
In what order would you put
all of them, or just top 5 or something?
Well, I mean, there's only 7, 6. You just.
Oh, you're talking actors. Okay.
The actors
there's 6. There's
Bond.
6 if you don't count the non-Bond, the non-Eon films.
Right.
Yeah. What was it? The original Casino Royale.
Yeah. Actually, the original Casino Royale was 1953 with an American guy.
Oh, was it?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
not
was
the
on
Peter
American
Sellers
TV.
one. There's the Peter Sellers one too, right?
Yeah, and that was the one with David Niven as Bond.
Yeah.
But he directed that and all that stuff. But yeah, Woody Allen was in that one.
Yes, that's the one I've seen.
And then the one with Sean Connery.
There was an earlier one you're saying.
Yeah. Okay. It was more of a made for TV.
Oh, okay.
Thing that they showed on CBS.
What's up, Kev?
They also had Don't Forget, Never Say Never Again.
I mean,
a ripoff of Thunderball, which is basically
it's the same movie again.
Yeah, the guy sued over the fact that he had the rights or something to it or whatever, so they let him make it. But it had so many rewrites, so many problems that Roger Moore beat him out. So
I would say that there are 6 that I would consider ranking, including the gentleman who had just the one on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
He blew that one. I watched the whole documentary on him.
Yeah, that was a really tough.
Yeah, he blew it himself. He decided I guess it got to the point where he didn't want to go into the 70s and do it or Bond. Whatever happened. But he could have done. I think they said 7 Bond movies.
That they had 7 himself.
Yeah, they had him set up to do multiples, but then that's why they brought Connery back because he went crazy at the premiere and
oh wow, really?
He had a beard and all this other stuff.
I never heard that.
I think I did hear something about the beard.
We're talking about George Lazenby or Lazenby.
Yeah, he was the one that could have got a better shake. I still think he should have done. They should have just let him do Diamonds, and then went right into Roger Moore.
I think that movie gets a bum rap, and I think oftentimes when I rank my favorite Bond films, it's top 10 for me. I like that one a lot. I don't know if it's top 5, and we'll get into that later.
No,
that's a steep list, but I think the movie gets a lot of grief that I don't think it deserves. But it might be that I love Diana Rigg so much.
Yeah, and then the moon thing to say we faked the moon landing.
All right, so then let's go around. Who's your favorite Bond actor? Carlito, let's kick it to you. Who's your number one?
You're gonna hear a theme tonight, and it's very generational. For me, it's Pierce Brosnan.
Okay.
I grew up my formative years. I mean, he was my Bond. So
there you go.
Not saying he's the best, just saying he's my Bond.
Fine. This is opinions. Opinions can't be wrong. So what about you, Matt? Who's your number one actor for Bond?
Daniel Craig.
Ooh. Wow. Wow, I was not expecting this. So then I'll be the old curmudgeon. It's Connery for me. Connery
that's what most of them
still ranks number one for me.
That's what they said. It's usually Connery number one, and then whoever the new Bond is, it's usually somebody's number two.
Right. What's up, Damien?
Yeah, Connery's a very close second.
So he's your second, then Carlito. Okay.
I kind of popped back and forth between him and Pierce, but I just like I said, I grew up with Pierce, so
I get it. And then Matt, who would be your second then?
This is going to be really crazy, but Timothy Dalton.
Well, that's not crazy.
Bold. Yeah, that is a bold, because he only had the 3 movies, right? It was
two.
Oh, he would have had 3. Living Daylights, and that was it?
And that's it. Okay. Yeah, because he was supposed to have 3, but the studio, United Artists, went bankrupt.
Yeah,
and they had a lot of problems, so that's why it took them 6 years
until Brosnan.
Until Brosnan, because Brosnan was supposed to do it, and they screwed around with the TV show.
Okay,
Limington Steele found out that he was going to be Bond, and they decided to pick up the option, which they only did 6 hour-and-a-half long movies type deals for that season.
This is like Tom Selleck can't be Indiana Jones because he's got to be Magnum PI, right?
Yeah, same difference. And then he finally gets the role, and then he gets fired by telephone. But that's another story.
All right, well then I guess it's tricky. Second place for me is probably going to be Brosnan, but it is tight. That second place spot is tight for me, so I'll go Brosnan for second. Carlito, what's your number 3 favorite?
Number 3, I had now this one moves back and forth, but today I had Roger Moore.
Wow, ahead of Connery.
No, Connery was second. 2. Yeah, Connery was second.
So there it is. Okay, so you went Brosnan, Connery, Moore. Okay.
Yeah.
Matt went Craig, and then he went with
Dalton.
Dalton. And then who's your number 3?
Brosnan.
So I make the comment that I feel like Brosnan had the best look and voice of any Bond, but the worst screenplays of any Bond actor. His movies were so poorly written, and I felt so bad for him, because he could have done 100 of them for me if they just kept a quality of writing up. And inversely, my number 3, Daniel Craig, I think had some of the better screenplays, but doesn't look the typical Bond by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm going to go 3 is Craig for me.
Oh.
So I went Connery, Brosnan, Craig on mine. So far, no Lazenby on anybody's list here. Carlito, we got the bottom 3 now. Carlito, what's number 4 for you?
Timothy Dalton. But that usually alternates with Moore. So
sure, yeah. Matt,
Connery.
Okay. At least he's cracking it. He's getting up there a little bit. I know his movies these movies age. Sometimes very dramatically.
Live and let die.
When you gotta and when you've gotta count the goods and the bads for every Dr. No, there's a Never Say Never Again. So you're kind of like you gotta balance it out. So I get it. So then I guess I will go bottom 3. I'm gonna throw Lazenby in ahead of Dalton. He's right there.
Wow.
So I'm gonna do Lazenby. He only had 1 movie, but I really do enjoy it a ton. So as far as percentages go, he's very high. He just doesn't have a lot of quantity.
Underrated movie.
Yeah, I totally agree. Great Legends already coming in here. You're gonna start dropping the Jigs Kingdom link here soon, Legend. I'm watching out for you, man. Carlito, okay. Last 2. Do you want to do your bottom 2? You can do both of them. Let's just finish it out. Yeah.
Daniel Craig and then George Lazenby.
Yeah, I mean, Craig, like I said, doesn't really look like Bond in the way we traditionally think of what Bond should look like. So I get the dislike, but his movies were so well written. The stunts are so amazing.
He had 2 good movies, 2 pitiful movies, and then one
we'll disagree on that.
And then one great movie, one okay movie at the end. His last movie was pretty decent.
It was all right, yeah.
See, for me, Daniel Craig, I don't know. He just he's too, for my Bond taste, he's too cold and calculating. Not enough suave, debonair,
A little too Bourne and not enough.
Yes,
Bond.
I wanted to say that, but I didn't want to say that.
Well, he is the Bond of the Bourne era, and I think that's kind of what changed the style a little bit, was how successful those films were.
But what killed him was he wasn't even 007 at the end.
Right? Yeah. That last film kind of.
Yeah, they gave it to that woman or whatever.
Yeah. All right, so then who are your bottom two, Mr. Gretzky?
Oh, bottom two is going to be...
You got Lazenby and Moore left? Is that what you got left?
Lazenby and Moore's dead last.
Okay.
I call him Mr. Stiff.
Yeah. He's dead last for me too. And he's
the guy that
Dalton right above him.
Yeah, he's the one who did it the most until Craig came along.
Yeah.
And had the longest run. But because of COVID, that was the whole thing. They had it ready to go, but then they didn't want to do it. And then he decided to do it. And then COVID happened. And then they finally put it out in 2021.
I mean, he's got a lot of charisma. He's got a lot of charm. He's very light, but his movies are so of the 70s that they're so tongue in cheek and cheesy.
Yeah. They made it so that I guess that's what they were going for. That's why I'll talk about it later, but that's why the first one for Dalton really didn't work as well.
Okay. Because people were like stunned by the difference.
They wrote it for Roger.
Oh, got it.
And they had to go back and rewrite it for Dalton.
Yeah.
Which Dalton
but Dalton's two films are good. Like, I think Dalton's two films are entertaining.
The problem is Dalton,
they're just more realistic.
Yeah, they should have killed the one, A View to a Kill should have been his first flick.
Oh, really?
Because what happened was they brought Roger came back. I guess he only was like on a 3-movie deal.
Okay.
And then every other movie was a 1-movie deal. So they brought him back because they didn't want to change Bonds because he was going to leave before Octopussy.
Got it.
And they didn't want to change because of Never Say Never coming out. And they thought if we change Bond, then people are going to think, who's this other guy over here?
There's all the Bond actors.
Yeah, so he beat him out in the box office. And then they decided, oh, stay again. He was like 58 when he got done. He was 58 years old.
Sure.
To be fair, on any given month of the year, Roger Moore could be my last on that list too. Sometimes I don't like.
Oh yeah, Roger Moore is dead last for me, but I can't.
I get it. I'm right there with you. He's dead last for me.
Yeah.
Legend shouting out Sleepy Reader. I also voted for you, Damien, for the Hall of Fame. Well deserved. So hopefully you get a shot.
Oh yeah, Legend should be in it.
Yeah, Legend next year. Let's get Legend on that ballot next year. Gore Vidal, welcome to the chat. Good to see you.
We know Gore. We know.
Every Saturday night he always shows up for movie talk. He says Craig's character is very close to how Ian Fleming described him in the novel. There's a thuggish quality. Yeah, he's what does she call him? A blunt instrument, right?
Yeah. Sort of
which
like,
I like, but I get that it's not traditional to the cinematic.
I never
more like the Dalton was more like in the book.
That
was more like how he was played in the book.
Which is funny because I like Dalton's better than Craig. But anyway,
and I can get that. Like I totally get that. For me, it's tough. I have a tough time balancing the actor with the quality of the movies. Like as great as Brosnan is. Like, I can't stand Tomorrow Never Dies or World Is Not Enough. Some of these movies are so painful for me to watch. Man. I can enjoy GoldenEye is fantastic, and I love that video game. So
some of the CGI was a little.
It works. And
GoldenEye was
Die Another Day just for the cheesy, over the top of it.
Yeah, she was supposed to get a spinoff.
Halle Berry,
yeah, but her performance fell flat.
That never panned out. Weird.
No, and it also didn't pan out because I also think that she did Catwoman right after.
She did,
and that movie flopped, and it didn't help her.
No,
yeah, it didn't help her already.
If that movie had been a hit, I bet that she would have got her Jinx movie.
They were just wondering like why. That's what I listened to. I listened to a lot of Bond podcasts and Bond people online that are really big into it. Like the Bond Experience, he's really big into it.
Dude, you got me into him now. I've watched some stuff today.
Oh, nice.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
What's up? Poor Mike is in the chat. How you doing? He says he has memories of renting Bond films from VHS days.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that's how my uncle had them.
let's travel back chronologically and just talk a little bit of the Connery era. Obviously, this was the launch and a lot of the signature elements, the gun pose with the barrel at the beginning, right?
Oh, yeah.
The music, obviously, so iconic now. The intro with the sort of like abstract, sexy lady dancing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain tropes that are right there at the jump when they first started making these movies. What are some of your favorite things about the Connery era? And I'll throw it to Matt first. Like, are there any movies, gadgets, cars? Like, when you're thinking of the Connery era, what sticks with you?
Right here.
Oh, let's see it. I mean, there it is. Let me blow it up here. Yeah, man, that's freaking great. I love it. The ejector seat.
Yep. This half of the car.
Yep.
Pops up.
I love it.
When Q was telling him, and then he goes,
Aston Martin, yeah, right.
And I love the line that Q gave him. Something about I'm not joking. I take my work serious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because that was Llewellyn Davies, right? Or Llewellyn
Desmond Llewellyn.
Llewellyn, yeah.
Love that guy.
And he was, I think I was talking to Carlito or you, Matt, about how long he lasted, all the way till John Cleese in the Brosnan era.
He was golden. He died right after World Is Not Enough.
World Is Not Enough. There you go.
Yeah, he died right after that.
But
and then
what a longevity he had. And of course, the woman who played Moneypenny lasted all the way through the Roger Moore era. So she.
Oh, and don't forget,
she spanned 2 generations.
Yeah, and then Bernard Lee.
Yes,
he did 11, I think.
Yeah,
11 Bond movies, and he died. Incredible. And then they didn't have one, and then they brought in Brown, who was actually in one of the other movies.
We got Super Russ 9000 in the chat. What's going on, Russ?
What's up, Russ?
Good to see you, sir. Gore says Christian Bale would have made a good Bond. Michael Caine, I totally agree. Caine could have done a nice 70s era Bond. See, Cary Grant, obviously, early on, he would have been a great Bond for sure. So what about for you, Carlito, when you think of the Connery era, what are there movies, scenes, characters? What sticks with you from that era?
Well, obviously, Goldfinger. For me, Connery sticks out more as just kind of that womanizing, suave, like, player kind of deal. But I don't remember anything too specific. Like I said, besides Goldfinger
and Pussy Galore.
Yeah, Pussy Galore.
Oh yeah, Pussy Galore.
And her flying aces or whatever.
Joe Matheson as the golden lady in the bed.
Yeah.
Odd Job.
Oh my god. So for me, like it obviously like the big 3 or 4, you've got From Russia with Love, Dr. No, and Goldfinger. Like it's hard to top those 3. Every time I think about Bond, those 3 movies are always vying. Thunderball is in and around the periphery, but like those 3, for me, it's From Russia with Love, Dr. No, and Goldfinger that are like my first thought. When someone says Bond movies, I jump to those 3.
Yeah, usually Goldfinger's most people's number 1.
Right.
Out of his era. But the best movie, I'll tell you this, I've heard this from other people, but the best
in the Connery era,
in all of Bond, just not just Bond, but could stand alone as a standalone movie, is From Russia with Love.
And I just watched that last year for the first time with my daughters, and I really it's almost all on a train. There's a huge chunk of it that's just on the train.
Oh yeah, with the guy that tries to kill him.
They're moving cars and
yeah. Well,
Connery is sexy and cool and will always remain his favorite.
And also, C. Woodard's here.
Was Carson here? I missed him. Sorry, Carson. Where you at?
There he is.
What's up, Carson? Good to see you.
And then they have who's the and the first Bond to do the gun barrel wasn't even the real actor.
You mean it wasn't Connery in the first thing?
No, in Dr. No, it was somebody else.
Like a stand-in of some kind?
I forget. He worked on the movie, but it was somebody else they used instead of him.
Sure.
To do
That's
it.
crazy.
But yeah.
Super Russ says, am I the only one who liked Die Another Day? I mentioned it as far as the Brosnan era. It ranks high in the Brosnan era, but that's
ranks dead last. Dead last.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
That's dead last out of all the Bond films.
World Is Not Enough and Tomorrow Never Dies do nothing for me.
Yeah.
Those two are leagues better than Die Another Day.
I love the whole intro sequence
on that one. Movies.
Carson's throwing out his favorites.
That's
a lot of the more recent Bond films on here. So GoldenEye, No Time to Die, Casino Royale. And then Thunderball and Goldfinger being.
Oh, they actually had the jetpack from Thunderball.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They actually found that in a almost got thrown out from what I heard. It was actually at a school.
Oh really?
Yeah, some college had it, and the guy didn't know what it was, and it was in a janitor's closet. And they were ready to throw it out.
What a huge piece of movie memorabilia just laying in.
I forget which one it was, what university it was.
I do think both, and I've mentioned on Her Majesty's Secret Service is an underrated one that I really enjoy.
Oh yeah, that's really underrated. Yeah, I watched that the other day. I watched that 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
I don't think I've seen that since I was a kid.
I couldn't find it streaming anywhere, so I need to get a copy of that of On Her Majesty's Secret Service or a box set, a Bond set of some kind.
Oh yeah, I got the 20 whatever it was, the one from 06.
Okay.
The box set there. But the new box set you could find used pretty cheap.
Oh, good. Okay, because I've only got like a handful of Bond films on DVD.
I've got them all.
I need to expand that a little bit.
Yeah, I need to find them all, but I got them.
Brosnan is his favorite Bond, says Woodard, but besides GoldenEye, he had some bad movies. And we mentioned Dalton being underrated for sure.
Yeah, Die Another Day, horrible.
Oh, yeah, poor Dalton. I mean, there's a guy that actually says Dalton is his favorite, and so.
Absolutely.
There's people who think he got shafted, but I think it was the studio. It wasn't really he got shafted. It was more the studio was in financial problems and got bought up by MGM, which is now bought up by Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah, the journey of these films is definitely one of film history in a lot of ways because you're looking at studio systems shifting around and the Broccoli's trying to keep some measure of control.
Oh yeah, and now they're not even produced. They're not even remotely interested in doing it. They're doing Othello. Yeah, that's their next project.
They've walked away from it in a big way.
They're doing Daniel Craig's Othello.
Okay,
movie.
There you go.
Yeah, so I guess he did a stage play or something that he directed or something. So they're doing that. That's their passion project. I heard.
Okay.
For right now, so that's 2026. I think is going to come out.
Wow!
So Bond's not even on the table right now. Huh?
Right now, not. But they wondering if they're going to sell it because there's other. Because we don't know if Wilson and Barbara are going to decide to sell it. But then there's her other brother. Okay. The other two brothers are involved, but they don't know if they're going to want to do it.
Huh?
And all that, keep it going. So
I just hope BlackRock. I just hope BlackRock doesn't buy it. Because that would suck.
I think Amazon will do it. I think is what they said.
It sounds like
that'd be better
at least. Yeah,
Amazon's already doing the Road to 1 Million.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's doing a second season of that.
Okay.
I didn't finish the first season, but it was like.
But they've been buying a lot of stuff because they bought the Jack Ryan whole universe for those books and movies. They've been producing stuff, and then now they got the Reacher films and books, and they've got all that. Yeah. So it would make sense that they would continue to expand.
I agree with Seawood on that comment.
This one?
Yeah.
I think it's a good time for Bond to be on a break. The last movie was a good stopping point for a while, at least. There you go. Fair enough.
Yeah. We think probably 2028, maybe about the time.
I mean, they've got announcing a new Bond these days is a big event.
Yeah, they had a bunch of different names of people that they've talked about. Henry Cavill's been one that's wanted to do it.
I think the problem is a lot of the actors are I think too old to do an extended run. So you gotta really get. I mean, that's what I liked about Craig was he was a lot younger and could handle.
Oh yeah, he was the amount of time between. I think
because it takes several years to get any one of these movies off the ground. So you know, if you expect them to turn out 5 to 7 movies, they've got to be young enough to make that run.
It's not
so
like
I love like an Idris Elba or a Henry Cavill. I think they've just passed their prime.
It's not like what Connery did 4 in a row.
Right.
You know,
he could just churn them out every single year. They could just
and he
pump those things out.
By the time he got around to the 5th one, they said it looked like he was like getting to the point where he was bored of doing it. And then he wasn't getting paid. He wanted money. That was the reason why he left.
Sure.
He was tired of doing it and he wanted to leave. Then they offered him, they said, I want $1 million. Nobody's paying $1 million. You know, Broccoli wanted to be cheap, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So he gets some, you know, Australian guy to do it.
I like anybody that knows the movie Layer Cake. So shout out to you, Brooklyn. That's a great
Layer
reference.
Cake. I think I own that.
Very good movie.
I gotta watch that. I think I own it somewhere.
Another movie where a character never has a name. He's just known as the narrator is what they call the character all through the movie. He just narrates it, but he never actually is. Nobody ever calls him by a name. The whole movie.
What was that other movie he did, bro? Craig did.
The Daniel Craig did. He's done a few, like Lucky Logan. Was a really good heist.
The one, the murder mystery one.
The murder mystery. Oh, the Knives Out and Glass
Knives Out.
movies.
I've got those. I just got to watch them.
Oh, they're great. Oh, I think they're very entertaining. I'm looking forward to a third one of those.
Yeah, because actually, you know, Daniel Craig wasn't really known until he got the Bond role.
Yeah, he was still an up and coming.
Crazy because he was an evil villain in Road to Perdition.
He was very creepy in
that. Creepy.
Very creepy.
That was a good movie. That was actually filmed. It was actually filmed near my parents' house.
Really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
You could actually see when they were driving through the town.
Okay.
They were at the Hotel Geneva. That was in Geneva, Illinois.
Oh, okay.
And then they drove past the movie theater that we used to go to as kids.
All right. Anything else you guys want to touch on in the Connery era? I was just going to talk a little bit about each era as we go along.
Yeah, Connery. A lot of the people were dubbed.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's true.
They dubbed Ursula Andrews' voice. They dubbed.
Wow.
It was Michael Collins who did the voice of Goldfinger because the guy didn't speak very good English, but he was in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang for some reason.
That's funny.
And could still act and talk.
That was a pretty common thing to like go redub a movie. It was not a
I mean, but it's seamless. That's what they said. It actually worked out that you couldn't tell it was dubbed.
They did a good job for sure because I would not have known.
Yeah,
then there was that Domino, that French actress. She was dubbed too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a couple that were. There was a couple of people that were. Yeah.
Huh. I did not know that. And I know that Connery basically wears a toupee in all of the movies. Like,
yes,
like the whole time. There's no movie when he's not. So
also, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say a little fact. He had the most shirtless moments in the Bond.
He was wearing a sweater the whole time, though.
Yes.
Yeah. But the funny thing about Connery was before he got the role, he was doing that Little People movie for Disney, the Little Leprechauns,
Time Bandits.
Oh, dang!
Time Bandits.
No, it was Dobie O'Gillis and the Little People.
It wasn't Time Bandits because I know he's in that movie.
Yeah, but that was the movie that they saw, his wife saw.
That made them want to hire him for.
Yeah, it made him talk him into buying.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it was. I remember watching that movie on Disney when I was like real little back in the 80s when we actually could afford Disney back then, you know.
Wow.
And Disney actually showed their old movies back then. But I was like, man, what are you doing?
Pre-moratorium crap.
But he had great gadgets too, you know, the jetpack, I said.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Absolutely.
And then he had that if you watched in the beginning of Goldfinger where he had the duck on his head.
Yeah, he's like swimming in the water.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're not talking about Zardoz. Nobody talks about Zardoz.
No, and he took the and then how he just like blew that up.
Yeah,
like he was just there. It had nothing to do with the plot. You didn't even know why he was there.
Why was he blowing it up? He ends up in the restaurant, and then the woman tries to kill him, and he uses her as a shield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the woman and then the joke he said, what was it? Shocking.
Shocking.
Very shocking. Yeah. when he threw the thing in there and blew her up.
Yeah. He knocks the fan, right, or the heater into the
into the guy.
Yeah.
I hope for the next Bond they put Giovanni Ribisi in it. That'd be great.
No. Damn you, Carlito. Well, let's talk Roger Moore.
Hardy.
Yeah. Ooh. I could buy that. let's talk Roger Moore era. Obviously, we were a little harsh on it right at the beginning, and
I got a lot
all of us put him pretty
beautiful.
low on the list. It's very Austin Powers worthy.
Yes.
It's very, very lighthearted comedic.
I think that's where they got it from. Yeah.
They take they take some of the elements from the original films and kind of let's see how far we can push the envelope with some of these things. Whether it's titles like Octopussy, which are just like bonkers, or just ridiculous lines or stunts. The Beach Boys at the beginning of the View to a Kill when he's snowboarding down the hill. And the Beach Boys song plays. There's some needle drops that are pretty hilarious to me as well. So when you're thinking back through the Roger Moore era, Carlito, like what are some of your remembrances of that? What were some of the things that you were like, oh man, that's going to be with me forever?
I'm going to be honest. I can't think of too much.
Come on, Jaws. It's got to be Jaws,
well,
right?
I mean, yeah.
Jaws is actually stuck with me as like an iconic Bond villain character because those teeth are just creepy and he's always there. And of course, later he's with Happy Gilmore.
And now he's dead.
God rest his soul. He's no longer with us.
Heart attack.
Yeah. I mean, when you're that big, I would imagine there's a lot of health concerns, right?
7'3". That's what they build him as. 7'3".
Yikes.
Yeah.
Jaws, there it is. See, poor Mike. Whoop whoop.
I mean,
Jaws,
we'll go with that. We'll go with that.
I'll tell you my later when we get to that point of the henchmen.
There's a lot of good ones. Absolutely.
I know.
So then what about you, Matt, from the Roger Moore era? Any takeaways? Any things you've held on to?
Live and Let Die is probably second worst movie for me. Great theme song.
That is the best.
I mean, when you have Paul McCartney working on your theme song, it's probably
he basically wouldn't do it if they wouldn't let him write the soundtrack. So when you're Paul McCartney, you let him do what he wants.
You absolutely sign that deal, yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Jane Seymour's Solitaire sticks out for me for sure.
Oh yeah, that was one of her first roles. That was one of
that was one of my first film crushes too. So
Nor mentions that here. Yeah, Jane Seymour for sure.
Yeah, Moonraker probably high up there in the dead last era. I think there's one movie right before that, but Moonraker comes in at number 22 for me.
Oh, he's got his rankings right there.
Yeah.
Octopussy comes down after that because I don't like Moonraker, but I'll tell you later. But the villain in that he gets mentioned in some stuff, but he's actually the most decent part of that movie. Other parts,
they had some pretty awesome actors in that era. I know Christopher Lee is getting shouted out here, but I like Christopher Walken is great. I love Christopher Walken.
Yeah. Christopher Lee is actually the cousin of Ian Fleming.
I totally knew that and forgot it until you said that.
I'd forgotten that.
Fantastic. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah, I was watching the documentary on that making of that movie, and they mentioned that. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Poor Mike. Yes, that was hilarious.
Christopher Lee was great, and his sidekick was great. I loved his sidekick.
Sure, which is Fantasy Island. Yeah.
Knick-knack. Fantasy Island guy.
Yeah, Christopher Lee, that was the man with the golden gun, right? That was he was the man with the golden gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. And I get that era is a comedic era and has and leans heavier into the satire and not the like, I don't know, pseudo serious spy stuff.
I mean, when you see Bond dressing up as a clown,
right?
One of the greatest openings is the one where he pulls the plane out of the horse's ass. And he gets in the plane and flies through there to the hangar, and then the missile comes flying in and blows up the hangar.
Oh, so good.
It shuts on him.
Yeah. Classic. Yeah. That era, I think if you just paused and made a list of some of the most ridiculous moments, I think you'd have quite a highlight reel.
They find that with Connery, it's all about diamonds. That's what they keep going back to, is all the stupid jokes, all the things that just like, what are you thinking? You know, it's like, and he doesn't even care. It's like he's just like, I'm here to make a paycheck. You brought me back. You're paying me $1 million, and I'm gonna just do what I want.
Right.
I don't care nothing about this.
Yeah. Yes, Gore. I think I would rank that Duran Duran song pretty highly as well.
Oh yeah, if we go to
my top
theme
5
songs, if we
When
go
we
to
get to
theme
songs.
songs, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you about that one.
Well, then let's continue on to the Dalton era. Obviously, 2 films, but
Oh yes,
definitely an interesting era for Bond, shifting away from the comedic side a little bit, getting into the serious side a little. The second film, License to Kill, really dark. I think very bloody. Gets into the the drug war that was going on.
Yeah, a little too much
Mexico and US. What were your thoughts on that era, Matt? Because I know you ranked Dalton pretty high.
Oh, top 5 movie, Living Daylights.
Living Daylights, that first one he did.
Yes, that's number 5 of all time for me.
Sure.
My top 5 usually doesn't change unless they bring in some new movies, and I'll start liking that.
Right.
But that is number 5 for me on the of all time. I love that movie.
And I think I have not rewatched Living Daylights in a while, but I did watch License to Kill last year. And
License to Kill,
that one held up for me. It held up for me. I was excited seeing Benicio del Toro as that super creepy bad guy.
That was weird,
He's
man.
So
I just
young,
think
man.
They had so much going on in some of those movies that some of the plots were like, okay, we're doing this, but then we got diamonds over here and drugs, and it was just so goofy that they didn't know where they were going in what direction.
Sure.
That they had too much going on and too many guys like the guy from, I forget the guy's name right offhand, but the guy from Living Daylights, the bad guy.
Oh, what's his name?
Korskov. Koskov. Yeah, the Russian guy. Yeah, he was Kara's
Robert
boyfriend.
Davi played the. You're talking Living Daylights? Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, he was
looking up License to Kill.
Yeah, he was her boyfriend, the one she was looking for or whatever. He pretended to be kidnapped or whatever it was.
Yes,
but the real bad. And then there was that other guy, the blonde guy,
Jerome Crab.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Crab.
Yeah. But Joe Don Baker played he played the like American general bad guy, like the arms dealer in that one.
And then he got a better role in GoldenEye.
Yeah, he came back. He was Felix, wasn't he, at that point?
He was like an ally to him who gave him a car. So I don't know what he was.
Right?
Yeah, he drove in that BMW or whatever, dropped it off, took their car, and
at the airport.
Yeah.
That's
when they landed.
Carlito, any thoughts on the Dalton era? It's 2 films, but I feel like they would rank fairly high for me in the overall rankings. Those 2.
They would for me too. I think as when I was a kid. And obviously, Pierce was kind of my first step obsession into the Bond films. But I would say, like, I kept hearing, like, Timothy Dalton was the worst from a lot of my parents, people their age and stuff. And I watched both those films, and I thought, wow, this guy is probably my second favorite at the time. So I don't know. I like both those films. I haven't seen Living Daylights in. I was probably a teenager last time I saw it.
It's been a little while for me, but
License to Kill, I've seen a few times.
I've seen that just recently,
But I definitely need to rewatch those. But so I think, I don't think he gets enough appreciation.
I think some of the guys that only have 1 or 2, I think that happens a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Between him and Lazenby, but he was supposed to do it before Lazenby. Or after, I don't remember what it was, but it was right in there somewhere. But he said he was too young to do it.
Sure.
So he turned it down. So then he basically turned it down. Then they went back to him years later, and he said yes.
Okay, then Brosnan era, Carlito. Obviously, you're a big fan. What are your thoughts on the Brosnan era? What are your takeaways from that?
My takeaways were. So starting off with GoldenEye, I remember the first time seeing that like it was yesterday. So cool, the opening sequence, bungee jumping off the dam, and God, it was just so awesome. The music, so it was kind of in that like last leg era of like 80s video game-ish meets kind of futuristic style that was going on, and so the music even it's kind of got that like not quite all electronic, but kind of like keyboard techno kind of
synthesizer
synthesizer. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, like pre Hans Zimmer way back then, but but yeah,
also
so
Sean Bean and Famke Johnson, right?
Oh yeah,
and I think that was
and then
Alan Cummings.
Alan Cummings, yeah.
Like, one of the greatest villains.
The three of them together. I mean, fantastic. Jean Grey and Nightcrawler together in a movie before X2.
And don't forget, I'm going to steal a comic book term here. The first movie cameo of Minnie Driver, where she's singing "Stand by Your Man."
Oh my gosh, you're right. In the Russian bar.
Oh god, that was so hilarious.
Oh my gosh, and she's dressed as a cowgirl.
Yes, and she looks
so hilarious.
Good,
I forgot she was in that.
Arena, take a hike.
Yeah. Wow.
So good.
Yeah, I think that first film is fairly easy to call the best of his four.
Yeah, that was the script that they wrote. That the guy who wrote it, I've watched the guy talk about it, but he said that he wrote the script when they brought it to him to do it, and that was his script that got the studios to decide to do Bond again.
Wow. After the Dalton era,
after the hiatus of almost 6 years, and then after that, Cubby Broccoli died. So that was the last movie he got to see before he passed away.
Thank God he didn't see Die Another Day.
Well, his daughter and his stepson did.
Yeah,
Michael G. Wilson.
Yep.
Another thing that people forget, or at least it's not talked about enough, is that film. I mean, you're lucky if you get one good Bond villain. That film had 4.
Yeah,
lots of good Bond villains in it. I loved it. It was fun.
No, I think
CGI is a little cheesy.
Yeah,
and then it was also that like miniature era, like Tim Burton-esque miniatures. And I was rewatching it the other night. And
the little explosions on the like the
some of it definitely doesn't hold up, which is weird because it came out after Jurassic Park, so it's like what the hell. But anyway, sorry, Matt, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I seen the model of the From World Is Not Enough.
Oh,
the headquarters. The headquarters. Yeah. Actually had the model at the museum there, and they showed some of that stuff, and a lot of that stuff was back in the day was Ken Adams, doing all that stuff, so all his great stuff back in the day, Well,
he did Moonraker. He did almost all of them, right?
He did almost all of them.
They had a crew that was kind of just continuing to work.
And then you had like directors. I mean, if you look at directors were like second unit directors ended up becoming Bond directors, editors like Hunt. Sure. Hunt was an editor. It became a director. John Glenn did 5 or 6 James Bond movies, and he was a second unit director. So
they had their little crew, and they kept turning them out.
Yeah, they would just bring him in and do it. He was there until the end.
What about you, Matt? What are your feelings on the Brosnan era? What are some of your takeaways? I mean, we hate the highlight there with GoldenEye.
GoldenEye for me GoldenEye is number 10 for me.
Oh wow! Do any of the other Brosnan films rank above it, or is it the best Brosnan?
World Is Not Enough, number 3.
Thank you, Matt.
All time?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Underappreciated.
Dr. Christmas Jones.
Underappreciated.
Yes. What the
action scene? We'll get into it later, but that's a great
get into it. But yeah, that's.
I mean, do it now, please. Do it now.
That's one of my top movies.
Number 3. I mean, my mind is blown right now.
I think
the whole opening scene that was like 20 minutes long.
It was great. And then David Arnold's bombastic score. Unbelievable. Yeah. The World Is Not Enough. That score I've listened to probably more than any
and then the song done by Garbage.
Oh, okay.
Awesome song.
I know you.
Yeah, that song was great too.
Interstellar. I love that song. That is.
Oh no, not all time, John. Just
okay, good. Films. I was waiting for you to clarify that.
Yeah, that's 3 for me. Then you go like Tomorrow Never Dies is like 18 on my list.
Tomorrow Never Dies is 18. Okay.
I have a soft spot for that one. I know
it goes way down. And then what was the other movie he did?
Die Another Day.
Die Another Day, Dead Last.
Dead Last. Thank you.
Wow. Yes, but The bad part about that was they said like the opening, like the song and all that stuff at that
Madonna
time they
song,
were
right?
They were the Bond song was because they were doing techno.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah, it
So
was
that was like
into
that was the big thing going on, and she was doing techno, and they Madonna's real still hot. We'll just grab her to do it, and
that song it's all right.
It's not a song you actually sit there and can literally say that
it's a club song
that you sing, that you actually sing
as if you go to
it's a club song.
Yeah, there's a few.
Hey man, you don't know my clubbing days, all right?
There's a few songs that I have on my song list, but those are ones that you hear, like you could go into a grocery store and hear it playing.
It could just be playing, like View to a Kill or whatever.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but that one is not one that you even like some of the songs you don't even remember them. They're not even memorable. They're just like
there's lots of forgettable ones.
I can't even remember the lyrics to some of them.
Like Tomorrow Never Dies. I don't know that song.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that is
Sheryl Crow. That's
Sheryl
awesome,
Crow.
man.
Yeah,
is it Sheryl Crow? Oh, wow.
I think they were writing that one as a country song. I think they were going to make it.
I think I heard that story too.
Yeah, something about that. I was like, okay.
But yeah, he had
some great openings and stuff,
Oh
yeah.
I
mean, the opening sequence to The World Is Not Enough. I remember I worked at the theater at that time when it came out, so me and my buddy were in there the first two to see it, and I was just like, "This is fucking awesome."
Yeah, I love the boat scene.
Oh, and then the bad villainous girl too that he was chasing that ended up dying. I think. What was her name? She was in
Electric
Sopranos.
King. Electric King.
Yeah. What was the actress's name? Damn it, she was beautiful. Though.
Yeah, she ended up. She ended up being the antagonist in the movie.
Right. Oh, no, okay, not Sophia Marceau, but it's just she just was a no-name bad guy that Bond was chasing in the beginning. She blew herself up, I think.
But they had her. She was the main villain because they all thought it. Everybody kept thinking it was the guy that she was pretending to be in love with, or whatever, or was in love with her, basically.
Yeah, he was
the other guy, and they all thought it was her kidnapper. And what it was basically no, she used them to get there, and then killed her. Had her father killed and all that. She was
like
stuff.
the rich heiress or whatever.
Yeah,
right? With nothing.
And
to
she
do.
was she was doing competing pipelines. So she wanted to blow up the one in Turkey or something, so she could be the only one.
Dude, that pipeline chase or not chase.
The only person that can save him is Dr. Christmas Jones.
That's right, dude. The hottest, literally the hottest nuclear physicist.
The Baywatch physicist.
And she's supposed to be the smartest person ever.
Jeez.
And they said that they only used her because she was like a
because her boobs were big enough. Yeah,
because she was a pinup at the time, I guess. That's what they called her.
Probably her peak look.
That casting still bothers me to this day. There's nothing.
Denise Richards. Yeah, and then then she did that other movie. Yeah, Love Actually.
You never had Christmas in July, John? Jesus.
I mean, not that.
January Jones.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, well then there you go. Let's roll into the Daniel Craig era. Obviously, that just sort of spectacularly ended here.
Oh yeah,
and it is an era that, for me at least, is highs and lows because Casino Royale and Skyfall are they would be two of my top five. I'm just gonna say.
Well, you're Skyfall 1 for 2. You're 1
and
for
Casino
2,
Royale are phenomenal. I think the movies are gut-wrenching, exciting. The stunts are incredible. The villains are really great. Mads Mikkelsen is a top-flight villain for me. And then what's his name from No Country for Old Men, the Skyfall villain. Javier Bardem. Super creepy when he takes his teeth out and he's
Silva, the guy that played Silva.
Yes, he plays Silva. Javier Bardem, the Academy Award winner. Super creepy. So for me, the Daniel Craig era, even though, Quantum of Solace, like there's highs and lows in that.
Born wannabe. That's why I hated that film.
I rank this era very high. I'm curious to hear, Matt, from you how you feel about the Craig era.
Quantum of Solace, to tell you the truth, number 20.
It's not good.
That's a good placement.
And it's funny because it's not just like, it's not that it's bad. It's just absolutely boring. Like it's how do you make a boring Bond movie?
And
I don't know.
Crazy.
I don't know how that was like. That's his second movie that comes out.
Yeah. And after such a phenomenal first movie, you're like, oh, I'm ready for this era. The stunts, the action, it's incredible. And then they make firstly, the title.
Oh yeah,
Quantum of Solace. I'm sleeping already.
That was used from something he wrote, like something he wrote. I forget what it was, but it was like
so bad
article or something.
But then they came back strong. I love Skyfall. I think Skyfall's absolutely fantastic.
Skyfall's my number one favorite.
Woo! And I know Carlito doesn't love it as much as me, so I want to give him a shot in a second.
Yeah, and then Casino Royale number 4. So
both of those are top 5s for me, and I'm not sure where
I think land. A lot of people will probably think I'm crazy, but No Time to Die, I put that at number 11.
I've only watched it once. I do want to watch it again now that I have the shock value.
I own it, and I got to watch it again because I've seen it a couple times. But other than that, it's one of those movies where the only thing I didn't get was like you found like in the Spectre was really
a mess. I don't know how they messed.
I don't know. Up. I mean, they took the guy who was Blofeld.
Yeah.
Christopher Waltz was a great actor, and you gave him a pitiful Blofeld, which the best Blofeld was from Majesties, was Teddy Savalas to me.
Right. Yeah,
the worst was that guy from
it was the Connery era, right?
Yeah, it was the guy. And
then Connery drops him from the wheelchair into the smokestack and blows him up.
It was the one where it was the guy that was more of a joke. Charles Gray.
Okay.
The guy that played Charles Gray played him. And that was a joke and a half right there. So
I just don't know how you messed I
don't know what they did, but they didn't have anything to do in Die Another Day with him except for like 2 scenes. Basically, and they said that was the best part. They should have done more of what he did in that. But then you find out that the reason why they killed everybody off is because they wanted to go in another direction.
It just made for a really sloppy movie.
Yeah, the Broccolis said this is our direction, And to get back to the what I've heard from people is Die Another Day. They said the first 35 minutes of Die Another Day is the best. Rest of the movie, forget it.
I agree. I totally agree. And I love the intro with all the like hovercraft chasing and the explosions, and then the torture sequence where he's like he's captured in Korea, and he's just getting like the scorpions put on him and stuff. I love all of that.
And No Time to Die, which right here.
Oh,
car right there.
The car is back.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Love it.
But but they said that was the longest opening, I think, to a movie.
I mean, it did take there was a ton of build up to set up the villains, the Die Another Day.
Really?
Or No Time to Die, you mean?
Yeah, No Time to Die.
Oh, No Time to Die. Okay.
No Time to Die was the largest setup in that kind of deal for a movie and all that, where he's like, but the henchman guy, the whole time I'm sitting there like, this guy's unmemorable. I'm never going to remember who this guy is. I don't care who this guy is. and then the other one was the Dave Bautista henchman.
Yeah.
In the, what was that? Spectre or Quantum?
It was Spectre, I think.
Oh yeah. Whichever one he was in. I don't even remember much about him except he was stupid.
Yeah, it was useless.
It was just like some of those two.
There was like a woman.
Have you seen him play Drax? And
it's great. Don't be giving him grief. Come on.
No, but he's still stupid though.
Well, but Spectre's 23 on my list, so
yeah, it's not a good one.
Spectre ranks worse than Quantum, but
I think this is a great comment, Carson, because I do think Judi Dench did a great job from the Brosnan into the Daniel Craig era, because she bridged those two eras.
Yeah, she was the second longest running
M,
which
we learned stood for Emma, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah,
like, that's why she was called it, or at least that's the connectivity piece that they
I kept calling her that in there. But then they had the one where the other one wasn't really was crazy when that what was it, Moneypenny shot him.
Yeah, in Skyfall, at the beginning of Skyfall. I thought that was cool. And then that's why she's behind the desk, because she can't handle the screw up. I love that. The fact that they make Moneypenny work behind a desk because she couldn't handle being a field agent. What a great way to set her up. So that part of Skyfall worked for me. But Carlito, you've been very patient. Let's give you a platform to burn on Skyfall. Tell us why Skyfall is garbage.
Very, very patient. So you touched on something great though. It was Quantum of Solace. Man, I remember seeing that in the theater.
Yeah,
I was bored to tears, and like I looked at my buddy, and I'm like,
fair.
I don't know if I want to see if this is the way they're going. And so I was dragged to Skyfall.
Yeah,
it started out all right. But God, in the theater too, I called to my buddy. I go, this is a straight up Dark Knight ripoff. All the fucking hoodwinks and the turns and the escaping from this is stupid.
It was also one of the first times that I know a Bond film was like immediately following the previous film, like almost like shot by shot, like they recreated the ending of the last film and then ran right into the second film.
Wasn't that Mr. White? Wasn't he in that one too?
Yeah, he shoots the guy at the end of Casino Royale, and then the next film begins with that guy in the trunk of the car, and he's racing through the city.
Which Casino Royale was awesome. I love that film.
Oh yeah, that was
everything you said about it.
That was the Bond book that started. I mean, it wasn't like the first book he wrote, but that was, I think, the first book he wrote. Yeah, it was the first book he wrote, but then they ended up using Dr. No, which was like I think the 7th book for their first movie, or something like that. Because he only wrote like 14 books.
I'm gonna tee you up again, Carlito. What I know you're not a Skyfall fan though. Like, what's the problem with Skyfall? Is it just because you feel like it's borrowing too much from Dark Knight? That's it.
It was predictable. It was I don't know, every turn, and it was just I don't know. Okay. I just didn't feel nothing seeing it in theaters, and I went back and rewatched it. I wanted to stop it because I'm just not into it.
I can't believe it. How much there's twists in that.
I know I'm like the one of 3 people in the world.
No, it's fine. I love the whole bit at the end when they're rigging the house full of like booby traps, and Albert Finney is helping Judi Dench like set up shotgun traps all through the house. I love all that. Like, I love all that like low tech fighting stuff that they do, and where they rig the house.
Yeah, and then we get a backstory of Bond
a little bit. I know that pissed a lot of people off. They did not.
That is another thing I didn't like.
In the same way, some people don't need to know who the Joker was before he was the Joker. A lot of people don't want to know Bond's backstory,
which we don't know. Which we really don't know.
They gave us a little bit, but they did the same with Eva Green in the first film, in Casino Royale, because she talks about how he was an orphan and he grew up. Like, she hints at some stuff in the first film, and they
nobody cares. Just get to the bonding.
Yeah, and then the killing of M. Like I
didn't like that either.
I thought that was fantastic, and I didn't see that they would actually have the cojones to do it.
Yeah, because he was actually after her the whole time.
The whole time,
we all thought he was after Bond, but he was actually after her because he got denied to become a 00.
Well, and sent him to die, and didn't go looking for him, and he ate the cyanide pill, and it didn't kill him. It just like destroyed his face, which is so creepy.
And then he had some of those gay tendencies.
Yeah. Oh man, his little like romance flirting stuff with Daniel Craig is fantastic. And
I love Craig's line. You think this was my first time?
For me, like, that all worked really, really well, and I was shocked at several turns. So clearly, Carlito, we just had different
that was
reactions
one of the
to
best,
that experience.
One of the best villains.
I mean,
I love him.
I'm glad that almost everyone liked it but me.
You can keep World Is Not Enough, and I'll keep Skyfall. We can both be happy.
And so he had 4, right? Craig had 4.
Craig had 5 because he had
he had
it was the 3 that people really like, right? It was Casino, Skyfall, and No Time. And then the 2 that people don't, the Spectre and the Quantum of Solace.
Because it was 06, 08, 12, 15, 2021.
And I actually like No Time to Die.
And actually, No Time to Die had issues, I think, because
there are some issues I have with it, but it doesn't overwhelm the fact that
it had a writer's strike too.
Overall, I like that movie.
Yeah, I think it doesn't get enough love, but I also have to watch it again because I've only seen it the one time.
Because a lot of people
it's easily top 3 of his era because it goes well with Skyfall.
Yeah, there's No Time to Die. A lot of people put that as their worst movie.
No, I think it was.
Really?
I think it was a.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like it. They try to think is it the
because
worst
of the
all
end
time?
and kind of what happened.
I think it's because of the end.
The ending and how does this girl from the last movie become the love of his life?
Yeah,
enough to have a kid with her.
Yeah,
you know, to end up getting her pregnant, and then you know,
I'll give them that.
And
but
then
I think
somehow, you know, I don't know.
I think with these films, especially fictional characters, a lot of people have issue with the ending of an arc because a lot of people hate Godfather 3 because Michael dies and because it's his.
I'm going to remind you though,
years,
Carlito. Michael doesn't die at the end of that movie. He doesn't.
All right.
His daughter dies, and he's holding her on the steps, screaming out, but he doesn't die.
What are you talking about?
The end of Godfather, Michael Corleone does not die.
Godfather 3.
Yes. He's on the
sitting
steps
in the chair.
No. He's
rocking
sitting
chair. And his hat falls off, and they pan away, and he dies.
I mean, sure, they jump way to the future. That's bull.
Yes.
The end of the movie is really him holding his daughter dead on the stairs of the opera house.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have a problem.
He dies an old man, like living a happy life at the end of his thing, whatever.
But I think that's why people.
It's just like The Sopranos, where you don't even see if you don't even know if he died or not.
Oh, he died. He did.
Cut the black, and then that's it.
He did. He did.
Don't get Carlito talking about Sopranos. We're going to be here all night.
Shadowing is heavily prevalent from Mr. David Chase on that. But real quick, so there's 5. You said 5? I thought there was only 4.
So I'll go through them again.
Casino,
Quantum of Solace,
08,
Skyfall,
12,
Spectre,
15.
Oh, and then
No Time to Die,
2000. Okay. And No Time to Die wouldn't have been there if he didn't want to come back. Because he didn't really want to do the last
I remember
one.
that controversy too.
But they finally talked him in. They threw some money at him. And
they drove a truck of money up to his door and dumped the driveway. He's like, all right.
And he's the one who wanted the ending where he died.
Yeah, I thought it was perfect.
Which I think,
great
and the great song at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to that song,
it's perfect.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, Quantum is dead last for me out of his.
I mean, Quantum ranks really low overall for me. I think
Quantum for me is 20 and Spectre 23. So
there you go. That's fair. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit of some favorite theme songs. Obviously, I've mentioned my love for A View to a Kill a ton, and I can listen to that song independently and just have some good fun with it. But I think the Casino Royale song, and it's You Know My Name, is great. Like, it's a really banging, fun song. And I love the intro. I
Chris
love
Cornell.
Chris Cornell's You Know My Name.
God rest his soul.
It's great. I think that song is very entertaining.
That was better than the Jack White.
Yeah.
Nobody can
that song
understand
disappointed the hell out of me, man.
Yeah, they don't know why they did it that way.
And I like Skyfall by Adele. I think Skyfall is a great Adele song. I think
she won a Grammy for that.
Yeah, she did, because it's freaking good.
I think she won an Oscar too. I think, wasn't it?
It even gives you like Bond vibe. Like you feel the song. It sounds like a Bond film independently.
Yeah,
I love it. Goldfinger, classic, like iconic classic.
Shirley Bassey,
right? So a lot of good stuff for me in those songs. Any songs that are missing there for you, Matt, that are like, oh, this is a top tier Bond song?
I'm gonna go my number 1. Nobody Does It Better. Carly Simon.
That's from Never Say Never Again.
No, that's from. No, that was the other one. That was Never Say Never Again.
Yeah.
No, that was from The Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh, The Spy Who Loved Me. Okay.
Yeah, Carly Simon was on my honorable mentions.
Ooh, this is a bold take. Gore Vidal saying doesn't like any of the Craig films.
Gore, I love you.
The Craig film songs.
Gore's the best.
Yeah. And then we have View to a Kill.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Great song.
I love the video too. The video that they did. For
Yeah.
And then World Is Not Enough by Garbage.
Yeah.
Then number 4, Living Daylights.
Yep. Good song.
And then Live and Let Die, even though it's not a great movie. The song is great.
That song is way beyond the movie at this point.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like Living. They didn't really like Living Daylights when they had it.
I liked that song. It's good.
John Barry.
It's all right.
John Barry didn't really like the fact that they went in the direction of poppy. People at that time.
Sure.
So that was his last movie he worked on, and he said he was like, "I'm out of here." Then he had Gladys Knight after that, you know.
Gore's mentioning he likes the From Russia with Love. That's his favorite.
That's a good one.
He likes The Man with the Golden Gun, and then of course View to a Kill and Live and Let Die. He mentions as well.
Oh, for songs or for movies?
For songs, yeah. All these are songs.
Oh,
yeah. I didn't think Live and Let Die was that bad. I mean, I think
Live and Let Die is great.
Skyfall is worse than Live and Let Die. Let's just put that out there, please.
I mean,
Live and Let Die was good enough that.
I don't think you needed to say worst. Here's my perspective. Live and Let Die is an iconic song that outlives its Bond era, like View to a Kill, and I think Skyfall does as well, but maybe not as much. So I think they're both.
Die Another Day gets a bad rap because they give that song like one of the worst songs.
The Madonna.
Yeah, I get it because if you listen to the lyrics, it's god awful. But I remember being in the club.
You're listening to the lyrics of a Bond song.
I only did that recently when I was listening to all the themes this week.
I mean, and you think about Dr. No. Dr. No's up there. A lot of people put Dr. No as bad because Dr. No's theme, because the theme song that they use that they claim is the one that they use is Under the Mango Tree.
Yes.
That's the one they use for that instead of the Bond theme.
No,
because they said they can't really do anything else. And then they use the ending song, You Have All the Time in the World, which was actually was Louis Armstrong's last song he did.
I didn't know that.
Oh, man.
Before he died, yeah. And he didn't even play the trumpet on that.
So CW says Live and Let Die, the one from Casino Royale, which is You Know My Name, Golden Eye by Tina Turner.
Tina Turner.
Tina Turner.
License to Kill, No Time to Die. All right.
Oh, so he likes what's her face? Gladys Knight.
The Gladys Knight one.
Yeah, Gladys Knight. That was good too.
Without the pips. No pips for her.
Carlito, did you have any songs we missed? Any ones that you wanted to mention?
I got John's favorite on here, Tomorrow Never Dies by Sheryl Crow.
I'm not a fan of that one, yeah. Although I do need to listen to it again. It's been a while.
But I would say my list is pretty much similar to Matt's.
Nice.
You know, Live and Let Die by Wings, obviously up there. View to a Kill, Duran Duran. Golden Eye by Tina Turner, I think, is underrated.
It is.
Once that song hits, man, God, it's just so good. And she kills it on the octaves in that song. Holy shit.
Yeah. Tina's a legend, you know.
And even the video, I mean, she's looking pretty good in that.
Yeah. Yep.
But other than that, I mean, You Know My Name by Chris Cornell.
Yes.
I had an honorable mention. I actually liked Writings on the Wall by Sam Smith, which I think was Spectre.
Was that Spectre? Maybe? Yeah. I think that's Spectre.
Spectre. A lot of people don't like that one, but
I don't know what happened to that guy, but I didn't mind that theme song.
He's all over the map.
He's like, I don't even know what he's doing now. The worst are like Moonraker.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how can you belt out
some of those early
Ranker?
It's not a good one.
I actually like
Thunderball.
Billie Eilish's "No Time to Die" one too. So it's kind of it grew on me.
Like her.
But yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, "World Is Not Enough" garbage. I mean, obviously that's
a good song. Yeah, that's a good song.
Oh yeah, You Only Live Twice. Not a great song.
Yeah, when I was working in the theater and World Is Not Enough was out, like sometimes I'd go in just to listen to the song at the beginning. So
that's so good. Some of their stuff was just like, why did you get that person to sing that?
Before we jump over to some other topics, I was curious, do you guys have an actor that you wish could have played James Bond at some point, but maybe now has passed the moment when they could do it? When you're like looking back, like, oh, if only this person had been given a shot. I will throw my guy. I love Clive Owen, and I really wish he had been given a shot. I think it was bad timing because Pierce was was in the midst of his run, and he's basically the same kind of age as Pierce. And by the time Pierce was done, it was not going to be his time. So he just missed out. But I think Clive Owen would have crushed it. And he was great as the bad guy in the first Bourne film, as the other spy that is chasing Jason around.
And if you guys haven't seen, check out Shoot 'Em Up with Clive Owen and Monica Bellucci.
Or Croupier, when he plays that, he's wearing a tuxedo a bunch and trying to rob a casino.
The other movie he did?
Children of Men.
There's so kind of a Bond thriller-esque. One of my favorites that he did, and it was kind of around that time where it was talking about maybe being Bond. The International, great film, underrated. I think.
Isn't that with Nicole Kidman? Is that Nicole Kidman?
No, it's the other blonde chick from The Ring.
Oh, Naomi Watts.
Naomi Watts, yes.
Yeah.
I was just curious if you guys have any actors, because I can't get Clive Owen out of my head. Every time I see him, I'm always like, actually, he would have been a good Bond.
I mean, I've heard people say that a lot of people have said if David Niven would have played it more serious, he would have been really good at it. But a lot of people think it was just too crazy, campy.
He's too tongue-in-cheek, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very campy. All right. We touched on favorite villains, but I'll let Carlito throw in some of his favorite bad guys. Any villains you love? I mentioned I love something about Benicio he was creepy in that License to Kill. Like, Benicio stuck with me for a long time. As just like something crazy in it. He had the crazy eyes. Any henchmen or main villains that were like, oh, this guy's fantastic. And I mentioned Mads Mikkelsen. I love him in Casino Royale. I mentioned Javier Bardem in Skyfall. Is anybody else that you're like, ooh, this guy?
Yeah, Christoph Waltz as
from Spectre and is it just Spectre that he's in? Is he in another one?
He's in.
No, he was in the.
He was in the 2 scenes in No Time to Die.
At
much.
The beginning.
Yeah. And then the scene where he died.
Yeah,
they killed him.
Yeah,
that was about it.
Yeah,
but he what was the original movie he was in before that or was that it?
I thought it was Spectre was his first.
Yeah,
appearance.
Spectre was his first.
Okay.
Second. Yeah, because he's one of 5 or 6 that played Blofeld.
Yeah, and I didn't have a problem with them changing stuff like that. Didn't me on that one.
I mean, Telly Savalas still the best. Blofeld.
Love Telly Savalas. Yeah.
In my Spectre,
Majesty's Secret Service.
But Charles Gray, not so much.
Yeah.
The guy that played Goldfinger, I guess. And then,
he's great. Yeah.
Oh, who was the guy with the hat?
Odd Job.
Odd Job. Yeah. Yes. Odd Job.
And he basically the guy that would basically do anything to keep you alive. He ends up letting the guy die,
Yeah.
The guy that would go to battle for
he's going to save you no matter what, and you're going to lock him and leave him in the
lock him in with Bond,
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And then
Alec Trevelyan or
Oh yeah, Sean Bean.
So.
Yeah. And Famke as God. What's her character?
Xenia Onatopp.
Xenia Onatopp. There it is.
Onatopp?
Onatopp.
Yeah, she was good. It was a girl. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Any favorites for you, Matt? That you really want to mention? We've hit a bunch of big ones.
Goldfinger, like number 1. Number 2 is Scaramanga.
Right.
Oh yes.
Yeah. He was great. Christopher Lee. Max Zorin.
Yeah.
He was great.
Walken, we mentioned him earlier. Yeah.
Alec. And then probably number 5, I'd go with Silva or Elliot Carver.
Elliot Carver. Which
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Okay.
He was the TV guy.
Yeah.
Yes. Tomorrow's News Today.
What's the actor's name? Gosh. He's a big name.
Yeah.
Something Jonathan
British Price. Yes. Jonathan Price.
Yeah.
Something wicked.
I thought he was
wicked.
Great.
This way comes.
Yeah. Then
he's kind of campy, but
honorable mentions.
Creepy.
Honorable mentions. Electra King.
Yeah. I liked her too.
Yeah, she was great. Lashif.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I love Mads Mikkelsen.
Then Hugo Drax. Even though I don't like the movie, he was probably the best thing out of the movie.
Which one's that? I got to remind me.
Moonraker.
Moonraker. Okay.
Yeah, Hugo Drax was the guy there in Moonraker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a quiet guy, but played it pretty well.
Sure. Absolutely.
So that was it. And then like henchman, I got Odd Job, Knick Knack.
Yep.
Knick Knack.
Jaws.
Yeah,
Alan Cummings' character.
Yeah.
Who was Knick Knack?
The plane.
The gun, the golden gun.
Okay.
Yeah. And Mayday.
Grace Jones all day.
Grace Jones all day long.
Yep. Which was a big deal. Like he was, with a black lady in the early 80s. It was kind of a scandal.
And the funny thing with Max Zorin was that he was actually laughing and having fun shooting his own people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Joyfully.
and then he also he laughed.
You mean like Xenia Onatopp? Yeah. She was psychotic too.
And then he had his own. Then he had fun with his own death. He thought he found that funny. His own death.
He was like hanging on and laughing as he slid off. Yeah.
Sort of like the Joker when the Joker fell.
Yeah.
Just want to shout out to my buddy Michael Churchill in the chat.
What's going on, Michael?
He's one of the ones I've seen a couple of those Craig films with.
Yeah, Robert's been in here.
So
hey, Robert.
He says, "Sorry to say this, but Bond to me will always be Sean Connery." That's not a mean thing to say.
You don't have to be sorry.
I think he meant Daniel Craig. Those are great picks. We counted down our favorite Bonds at the beginning. If you want to flip back and see some of that, we're doing some villain talk right now. Matt's finishing his list.
Yeah, so Hugo Drax, he's a good one. Some of the duds were like most of Charles Gray dud. He's still a dud. I don't know why, but
the second half of Connery's era had a lot of duds.
Dr. No was pretty good, but the funny thing is the guy's not even Asian.
Yeah.
Well, that's common for that.
That happened a lot back then, though.
They tried to,
he's also incredibly spoofable because I think a big chunk of Austin Powers, Dr. Evil in that plastic suit, and he's like can't sit in the chair, and he's like falling down, and nobody can understand him inside when he's trying to use the microphone to talk. It's like it's perfectly spoofable, that Dr. No character.
Yeah, and then they ended up, and then the woman, what's her name from Russia with Love?
Oh, shoot. I'm not going to remember the name.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
But the Russian girl, she was pretty good. The other guy was expendable because you saw what he did with him.
Yeah.
You all thought she was going to be the one that was going to die, and it ended up being him, the chess player.
Yeah. The bad guy from that is a good henchman from Russia with Love because you've got what's his name, Robert Shaw, right, from Jaws, blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah. Robert Shaw, Jaws, is the villain in that.
Yeah.
Who was the villain in Quantum of Solace? I don't even remember.
It's so forgettable. It was that French. He's a French actor. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember who he was.
Not memorable.
Not a highly ranked.
No.
I've watched a lot of rankings.
All right,
last one I can't remember.
I couldn't figure
Before we scattered to all different topics, the last one I had organized for us was the Bond ladies. I mean, being a Bond lady is a big deal. And there's a lot of great ones we've mentioned.
Oh yes.
I mean, we've all got some of our favorites. We've mentioned a few different ones here, but I'd love to hear. Let's Carlito, did you want to kick some off here? There's some ladies you want to mention first.
I thought you'd never ask, John.
Here we go.
That was my last thing I had to rank.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did on my list.
There it is. I saved it just for you, buddy.
Number one, Monica Bellucci is Lucia.
Yes, and I think Gore mentioned her in the chat. Yes.
Number two, though, goes all the way back to my childhood. Jane Seymour, Solitaire.
Yes. I love Jane Seymour with her like two different colored eyes. They photograph her so well. It's just, dude. If you guys don't know, she's got like a blue eye and a brown eye, and it's just like so beautiful the way they photographed her in that.
And then you might be surprised by this one, but Ursula Andress as Honey Rider.
A great one. What do you call Ursula Andress always is a win.
Yep. And her voice was dubbed.
Gore's naming one of my top three. Diana Rigg
almost made mine.
Diana Rigg is amazing. I mean, I watched the old Avengers.
No Kim Basinger.
Show. No Kim Basinger.
I don't like blondes. You notice all these women I'm naming, well, except for Ursula.
But this is a great pick, Gore. That's always near the top of my list.
Number 4, Ana de Armas as Paloma. Which she doesn't. She had 12 minutes of screen time. I think.
Spectre or No Time. I can't remember
Spectre.
I can't remember which one, but she's in one of those last two.
No, it was No Time.
Okay.
Because Spectre was Monica Bellucci.
Oh yeah, you're right. There you
go. I think that's right. And then number 5, Olga Kurylenko is Camille Montez or Cami Montez.
Which one was that?
That was it was Daniel Craig. I can't remember.
Was that the Quantum of Solace?
Might have been Quantum. That was probably the only good thing.
So many
about
of those
Quantum.
movies are forgettable with the most beautiful women.
Quantum didn't really have.
There wasn't really much.
Wasn't much to it, but
yeah.
Except there's some guys that really like that movie.
Really? It's Quantum?
Really?
Yeah. The guy that I told you to watch, he really likes Quantum.
That's funny.
Yeah, Isabella Scorupco. She was on my honorable mentions, Michael. I gotta throw a shout out though to my favorite Moneypenny, Samantha Bond, who was in GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, and I think War Was Not Enough.
Short hair.
Yes.
Yes.
The banter between her and Pierce Brosnan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was top level. Like the chemistry and everything was just perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ava Green, honorable mention.
Yeah.
I'll stop there though.
And obviously, I'm throwing, even though she's the bad guy, but Famke, I'll throw Famke Johnson in there all day.
Yes, yeah, I thought she was more of a henchman, so I didn't.
She is a henchman, but I'll throw her as a Bond lady. She's a Bond woman. I think Grace Jones and her are both considered Bond women at this point.
Yeah, or don't forget Bambi.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? Any favorites that you want to mention?
Kara from Living Daylights.
Yes, that's a Diabo, right? Olivia Diabo or Miriam Diabo, the sister.
Yeah. Yeah. Mary Goodnight.
I'm gonna have trouble remembering. Which one was that?
Spy Who Loved Me.
Spy Who Loved Me. Okay.
I guess I kind of like her.
Or no, Man with the Golden Gun. She was Man with the Golden Gun.
Okay.
She was the one who was no, wait a minute. No.
She was the ditzy one, right? And then she got locked in the closet.
No, that was
Bond was
the one that got locked in the closet.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, she was the one that locked in the closet. One of them, because the other one was the Russian girl. Was in Spy Who Loved Me. Was the Russian Triple X? I think was her name or something. was her supposed to be her name? Natalia from from GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Pussy Galore, and then Christmas Jones.
Oh, God.
I almost threw her on there just to piss John off,
just to anger me, just to upset
Dr.
me.
Christmas Jones. But then you had like Ursula Andrews, but she was dubbed. You know, her voice was dubbed over.
Yeah.
A couple others.
She was beautiful though.
Yeah, a couple others were there, you know, but they really didn't have more to me. I mean, don't forget Maud Adams.
I don't remember Maud Adams.
She played in 2 of the movies.
Okay.
So she was the Bond girl for Roger Moore.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm not remembering my Roger Moore Bond lady.
He actually liked the acting with her or something like that.
Okay. So
but the problem was the girl in View to a Kill.
Yes.
He was almost 60 and she was
like 20.
Like 30 something.
Yeah.
So it was like she was like way younger than him. So
Jane Seymour was 20 and
she was very young.
And so how old was Roger Moore at that point?
Well, that was his first one, right? Wasn't that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So maybe
he was he was 50. He did it for 12 years. He was 46.
46.
When when that movie came out,
she was in her 20s for sure when she made that.
Yeah, because that was her first role. I think they said.
I do got to throw a little shout out real quick. Sorry, Matt. Before I forget.
Yeah.
Kissy Suzuki, played by Mia Hama. The longest scene in a little tiny bikini ever. In the Bond films.
In most people's lists, she doesn't.
She looked amazing.
Very high. She doesn't. Very high.
I think she's beautiful though. But
and then we had who were the twins? We had the twins in that Bambi and whoever the other one was, Thumper and Bambi, might have been.
Oh,
from Diamonds.
Yeah,
Diamonds Are Forever had the twins.
Who was that?
Yeah, I can't remember who played them, but they were the 2 twins that tried to kill him.
Wow.
I wonder if Mike would know. He's probably gone.
Yeah, somebody who should know, because
my buddy Mike in the chat, he's one that I've seen quite a few Bond films with.
Yeah, I mean, my uncle would know. He knows them all.
I know we wanted to at least touch on there's 2 pieces here, right? Every Bond film has to have a stinger, right? That little bit at the beginning that's got the action to set up the story.
Yes.
And then the theme song, the visual, just, abstract intro sequences.
Yeah.
I just want to give you a little time on this, but I know we're almost at an hour and a half, so I don't want to go too much longer. But are there any? I know that Matt, you had a bunch of stingers that you liked, but like the bits before the movie got rolling.
Yes.
And you've mentioned a couple of them. Obviously, the is it Goldfinger, or where he's swimming with the duck on his head, or is that Dr. No?
Yeah, that was that one.
Yeah.
Goldfinger. Yeah. Goldfinger was the first movie, second movie, but the third one was the one that basically set up everything from that point.
Right. The pattern was now built.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Terry Hatcher is a Bond woman. Yes, she was.
Oh yeah, she died too.
She didn't have that big of a role, but
no, but that's where Carver was at, where because he had
Tomorrow Never Dies, right?
Yeah, it was the reason he had a whole speech about the reason why his wife had to die or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. She knew Bond somehow. I forget what it was, but yeah, she knew him because they met at the party, and she's like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah, she would for sure. I wish she was in that movie longer too. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Any other stingers though? Any other music intros that you want to mention?
Yeah, I'll tell you the one that World Is Not Enough. That one was great. GoldenEye was great. That's number 4 on my list. Living Daylights was number 3. I love that beginning.
Sure.
Spy Who Loved Me, number 1. Skyfall, number 5. Tomorrow Never Dies, number 6. Because that's where he takes the plane.
Yeah.
Puts up the whole thing. And No Time to Die, number 7 on that.
Nice.
Carlito,
any ones that you remember that are particularly stand out, or you feel like we hit
all of those? Yeah, he hit all of them. I wouldn't change anything. I would say, well, you did say GoldenEye, didn't you? Yeah, that God dang that.
Yeah, that whole scene where he did the bungee jumping.
Oh, man.
And then all the way through to when he's flying out in the plane.
Yeah, when he
the whole thing's blowing up.
Jumps the bike off the ledge and flies into the plane.
Yeah.
So great.
Defies all gravity.
Yeah, I wouldn't change a thing. That's a perfect list right there.
Awesome.
What about you, John?
No, I mean, those were a lot of my favorites. Absolutely. I did want a little appreciation for Casino Royale, which tried to like reinvent and show Bond's earning of his 00 status. And the bits of where it's in black and white and then it's in color and it kind of skips back. And then it goes into the chase all through the little town where he's got to get the guy with the bomb. There's a whole sequence there that I think is really kind of cool. And I
agree with that.
And I like the GoldenEye visuals at the beginning of that song where the Tina Turner song is playing. And I think that came out really well. I thought that was cool.
I'm trying to think. What was the one? Was that Quantum, or was that Spectre, the one where he was in Mexico City at the beginning?
Spectre. That was Spectre. Where it's like Day of the Dead or something.
Yeah, Day of the Dead. Yeah, that one was pretty decent.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this was a whole lot of fun. I mean, it's obviously a lot of good times when you can talk about something that everybody's clearly really passionate about and really enjoys. So this is a whole lot of fun to chat with you guys. Matt, is there anything coming up people need to know about? Anything? Obviously, the links to these gentlemen, it's down in the description below. But is there anything you want people to know about? Anything you got coming up? Anything you're excited about?
Nothing coming up right away. And that, I mean, don't think I got anything coming up soon.
I mean, this was my last big thing for a little while, so I had the show last night and tonight. And I was like,
that's pretty much what I got because I'm on vacation. Same. Not this week, but the week after I'm on vacation.
Nice
vacation. What's that?
Yeah,
it's the holiday on Monday. I
get a holiday tomorrow. Then I get a 4-day work week, and then I go and work. And then I get vacation after that. Then I take 2 days after that. A part of my vacation is 2 days after that. And then, but most of it's going to be spent with my parents and then end up going to doctor's appointments and stuff. So
there you go.
You got to do that when you get old,
Yeah, dude,
it's the way it is, man.
The older you get, the more you do. But yeah, nothing really coming up. I really don't have anything unless I do something on Instagram or try to figure out how to get back on here.
Sure.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it.
And I know, Carlito, you've been on a lot of Jigs Kingdom streams and hanging out a lot late night. Any late night streams in your near future coming up? Anything going on?
I mean, I'll probably hop on Jigs tonight for sure. Me and JoJo actually are going to be doing at some point. JoJo's busy, but she's been watching all the Fast and the Furious movies for the first time.
Nice.
So we're going to kind of do sort of what we did here tonight, but with the Fast and the Furious. And
wow.
I think
nice.
I mean, I don't want to jump.
I've got them on DVD or Blu-ray, DVD or something, but I got a whole set of them, but I don't.
So I bought the
I never
whole
watched them.
set plus what's the one with The Rock and what's his name? Anyway.
Kevin Hart?
No, it was Jason Statham.
It's
something Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw, yeah.
So I bought all of those on 4K.
They're still looking to do a second one of those.
Anyway, I gave JoJo all of the Blu-rays.
Yeah.
I shipped them to her. So she's watching those, and surprisingly,
you're supposed to be giving me all these digital codes too. I mean, I was expecting all these digital codes. Just start snapping photos of them.
I will.
Text
John,
them all to
at some
me.
point. I will.
Yeah, because they're supposed to do more of those movies. I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
Fast 10.
Yeah, Fast 10 came out. Then they're supposed to end it with 12, I think.
Okay.
But they were going to do a second one of Hobbs and Shaw, but The Rock and the other guy are so busy, they don't think they're going to have any way of doing another one. But they're talking about doing a sequel to Tokyo Drift.
Nice. Okay.
So that's what I've heard. So, and then they're supposed to do 11, and I think Tokyo Drift would be the 12th one, the sequel. So nice. I don't know.
Tokyo Drift was the only one I didn't see in theaters, I think.
That was a prequel.
It's not bad.
After I think 7, I stopped actually. So yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody, I appreciate you guys coming by and hanging out with us. And I hope you leave some comments of your favorite Bond films, your favorite Bond actors, ladies, villains, all songs, all that kind of good stuff. And then if Matt comes up with another idea for us here, we may be back for another chat here sometime soon. So,
yes.
See you guys all again soon.
Alrighty.